Hello everyone, welcome to your first chapter problem section. This one is on chapter 2. We spent time learning about kind of like object-oriented coding, what data types are. Those are also called object types. I'm saying data types a lot because they are data types that we use in data science. But, they can be, objects have all different types of properties as you're learning. All of these different things like integers and strings. We learned how to do certain operations with integers and strings, like assignment operators, which are assigning variables. We learned about how to do like math operations with integers and floats and even strings in some ways, and so on, okay? So the point, this chapter should be, problem set, it should be easier than the other ones, partially because I want you to, get used to how I'm approaching building these problem sections, as well as like getting used to the format and style and kind of, catching up to where you need to be so you can understand the following problems. So expect them to get kind of like progressively more difficult, but also, I'm trying to be fair as well. I think it'll be fine, guys. Don't you worry. So in your task for chapter 2, you're just going to be doing some basic object manipulation. I'm going to get you to save a couple of variables, do a couple of operations on it, play with the functions a little bit, and then the real point is, I want to really land with this chapter problem is learning how to read documentation, where to go to get the information that you need in order to, understand what each line of code is doing one step at a time. So I want you to kind of learn things that we didn't necessarily go through in class or in lecture, and that's important because you're going to need to have those skills when if you do this full time, because data science is, a lot of it is learning on the go too. It depends on what you're doing. So in terms of, I always like to have a slide for like specific functions that I think are going to be really useful for what you're doing, as well as kind of like the basic themes of the task. It's kind of like what you will have, like the things that you will have to do, not what you actually are supposed, like not the specifics on what you're supposed to do, kind of like the techniques and processes. So you're going to need for that task, you need the type function, so you can determine the type of an object after you assign the variables. That's one of the tasks in there. And I'm recommending the help function that we looked at from previous classes, previous lectures as well, in order to get your information about the functions that you can use for your different types. However, you can also use the internet as a resource as well. Please do look at places like Stack Overflow or Python's official documentation, or any other resource you find that you eventually think is reliable because you keep going to it. I've kind of recommended a few in chapter 1, so I'd say start with the ones that I use, but if you find better as you go, please do. Anyway, so with that, guys, that is all for this video. I get to the point where I tell you what you need to do and some of the things that you need, and then I split this video so that you can try it yourself. So in the next video, I'm going to go through line by line what I did to get to an answer that I thought was generally satisfactory. So, okay, guys, see you then.